Welcome everybody to Revealed with Rhona. Today, we are talking to Miss Frenchie Davis. We're gonna take her on a picture journey. She doesn't know what we're gonna talk about, but every page we turn is gonna reveal a little bit more about the more candid side of who you are. We've been talking about these two things in particular, but this one really affected you, American Idol. For the people who don't know, share with them what happened, and then why it scarred you and your family so deeply, and how you have been able to heal or forgive the experience 13 years later, finally.
Earlier in the interview, we talked about, the time that I spent, being homeless, and, when I was in school and everything. And during that time, I had to do a lot of crazy things to make money for my tuition, one of which was taking topless photographs and getting paid for them. Auditioned for Idol. And it was during that process of background checking and all of that, I had a conversation with the producers of the show. And I said, hey, I just want to be upfront and honest about this. 5 years ago, I took topless pictures. As far as I know, they're not even on the internet anymore. But I just want to make sure that I'm being honest with you. I was 19 years old. I was homeless. I did it to make money for college. They thanked me for my honesty, and we talked more in depth about it, and I put all the necessary information on the background check paperwork. And as far as I knew, that was the end of the discussion, because I figured if this was going to be a problem,
they would have told you.
They would tell me, and then I wouldn't compete on the show. I'm on the show. I've made it to the top 30. They've divided us into groups of 4. I'm originally supposed to be in the first group of 4, where we're going to compete to see who's going to make it into the top 12. They call me and say, we've decided we're going to put you in the last group of 4 because there's been such a strong audience response to you that we kind of want to save the best for last. The people from group 3 who are going to make it into the top 12 were selected, and now we're a week before taping group 4. About 3 or 4 days before we were going to begin filming Group 4's, competition to get into the top 12, the producers called me into a meeting. I'm driving to the meeting, and I get a phone call from a friend of mine from Howard, who says, Frenchie, I don't know what's going on out there, but I just got a call from one of my sorority sisters, who's a writer for People magazine. And she was just called into a meeting by her editor-in-chief because there is buzz going around the media community that you're going to be eliminated from American Idol for taking pornographic photos. They let me know that they're kicking me off of the show because of the pictures, because someone found out about them and was blackmailing the show and threatened to re-release the photos to the internet if I wasn't kicked off of the show. Then the next morning they have a press conference and announce that they've discovered that I took these pictures and that they would be disqualifying me from the show. A white girl, Nikki McKibben, who was on the season before me, former stripper, allowed to compete. What hurt me in that moment the most was the realization that they had planned all along to do this. Because if the media knew I was getting kicked off of the show before I did, then that means that they had planned to do this.
For the drama aspect.
The fact that they would lie and present the information to the public like they just discovered this information. Not to mention that night, I've got to call my mom, my dad, my grandmother. I've got to call my siblings.
Did your parents know that you did this? Or
No.
you just, okay, so you had to go through the whole thing when you weren't ready, but now you got to go. Okay.
So I've got to call and explain this to my family, my friends. Because this is hitting the airwaves like tomorrow morning. That was by far one of the most humiliating experiences of my life. And I think instead of time healing it, time made it worse.
Really?
Because 4 years later, you've got a skinny white girl who's a contestant on the show, and naked pictures of her surface on the internet. Not just naked pictures, pictures of her with a penis in her mouth, pictures of her performing sexual acts.
And they didn't...
They let her stay on the show. Now I'm questioning, was my disqualification from the show even about the pictures?
What do you think it was about?
I think it was about race. I think it was about size. And it was a very difficult journey for me because I'm very aware of how reality TV goes out of its way to portray Black women. And I was very aware that if they could paint me out to be angry Black woman, they would. And I never wanted my response to what happened to ever perpetuate any negative stereotypes about Black females. For many years, in interviews, I never badmouthed them. I never came out and accused them of racism. I never badmouthed them ever publicly.
But you were carrying a lot of things internally.
But I was carrying a lot internally, and it was a struggle.
When you say you forgave them after 13 years, what does that mean then?
That I began doing the work to forgive them.
So you just started. Wow.